Welcome to Todos Cafeteros, where I am tracking the progress and the games and the players of the Colombian national team. We are reviewing Matchday 17 and 18 today, where Colombia has qualified for the 2026 World Cup in Mexico, Canada, and the United States next year. So with a win against Bolivia at home in Barranquilla, on Matchday 17, the team around Nestor Lorenzo was able to qualify for the World Cup. Much was at stake that day, and according to that, Nestor Lorenzo put his best 11 out there. In my opinion, the ideal starting 11, if you consider that Munoz was suspended due to yellow cards. So he put Santiago Arias in the starting formation here instead of Munoz. Everything else is exactly how I would have put this team together based on my previous videos. You can go back and watch them. Every time I've been saying, don't experiment so much. Put the best 11 out there until you're qualified. Lorenzo used to experiment a lot, trying to find his ideal 11. Not today, not against Bolivia. The team with a secure 3-0 win with the best 11 on the field. And Santiago Arias was able to contribute early on. The first half an hour was exposing how nervous the Colombian team started into this game. They knew what was at stake. But then in the 31st minute, Santiago Arias with the assist to James 1-0 in the 31st minute. James with the beautiful goal here. And then in the second half, Bolivia was pushing a little bit more. They had to win to be in the race, or at least tie to be in the race for the still for the 6th spot, but eventually the 7th spot, and be able to qualify for the World Cup as well. So much at stake on both sides. Bolivia pushing more in the second half, but then in the 74th minute, Cordoba scored the 2-0 for Colombia, assist by Quintero. Quintero also the man who scored this 3-0. Then in the 83rd minute, he himself sealed the deal, assist by Lucho. And the entire Colombian team just put everything out there. They qualified. You could see the relief. You saw James sitting on the grass after the game was over, just reflecting on that journey, that 3-year-long journey, or 2 by now, but overall almost 3-year-long journey that this Colombian team has to go through. All teams in CONMEBOL Confederation have to go through to qualify for next year's World Cup. In Europe, UEFA plays like a half-a-year tournament, quadruple the time here, and you know what those teams are putting out there, what kind of journey this is. Again, 3-0 win for Colombia against Bolivia. With that, Colombia qualified for the 2026 World Cup. And the game against Venezuela, really, now, Nestor Lorenzo, now you can experiment. And so we're heading into match day 18 in Venezuela, where stuff still open for Venezuela. Venezuela being able to grab that 7th spot there. While for Colombia, it's basically just an exercise. Nestor Lorenzo now could experiment, and experiment he did. 6 changes in the starting 11, leaving the core around James, Lucho Diaz, Richard Rios and Lerma intact. So he definitely wanted to see how those new players would perform with the established starters, highlighted here in those circles. So the core stayed the same, but 6 players around them, well, technically 5 players around them, and the goalkeeper, he gave Mir a chance, were substituted out just to see how they would perform. And we had a breakthrough player here I'm going to talk about in a second with 4 goals. But first, the first half opened with Venezuela starting strong, 1-0 for them in the 2nd minute already. But then in the 10th minute, Mina shows again his header strength. Once again, 1-1. Shortly after that, Mir here a little bit late, but also was disrupted by the Venezuelan player. At this chance for the opponent, the ball goes over the line. It is 1-2 from Colombia's perspective. An unfortunate goal, and Mir had to be treated for a couple of seconds after. Everything was fine. We went on with the game. But a big chance here for Venezuela in the 38th minute. What a shot, what a bicycle kick. Luckily, only hit the crossbar. Then Luis Suarez, not that other Suarez, this one here doesn't bite. He only scores in the 42nd minute. 2-2 by Suarez. He'd become this game's breakthrough player and get really hot in the second half. In the second half, as mentioned, Suarez with his second goal, 3-2 in the 50th minute here. And just 9 minutes after that, in the 59th minute, Suarez with the hat-trick. Unbelievable. In the 67th minute, his fourth goal for Suarez. This guy might have just become a starter, no kidding. How can you not play him from here on out? 4 goals in this victory by Suarez. 27-year-old Luis Suarez, born in Santa Marta but played youth soccer in Spain, transferred to Sporting de Lisboa this summer for between $22 and $30 million based on his performance, from Almeria, second Spanish division, to now first Portuguese division. Just 2 minutes after his fourth goal, he was substituted out for Cordoba, and Cordoba, who came on, would also score in this game. But first, Venezuela cuts it down to 3-5 in the 76th minute. Before then, in the 78th minute, Cordoba would finally put the lid on. 6-3 for Colombia here. Definitely a memorable night, not only for Suarez, but also for Venezuela, that unfortunately won't make it to the World Cup because Bolivia won at home 1-0 against Brazil. Again, I don't understand how FIFA lets them play on the moon, the highest FIFA stadium in the world. Brazil also playing with substitute players after being already qualified. Bolivia wins, Venezuela loses, and therefore Bolivia will be in 7th spot on the table to have a chance to qualify for the World Cup as well. Venezuela out. Colombia qualified again because Brazil lost. Colombia is in 3rd spot. But I'll talk about the table here in a second. I still want to go back to the formation and see what these games changes mean for the starting 11 moving forward. I think that Nestor Lorenzo will still play with this ideal formation that will look something like this. Now, that can vary on occasion. He likes to experiment, but I think that's the core that will play moving forward. Some variations might exist. For example, against Bolivia, John Arias and James switched spots, which I believe was the first time they did that. But in the past, Luis Diaz had already played center forward because forwards like Cordoba or Duran start missing their chances and weren't just playing that great. That could change now with Suarez's breakout performance. We'll see in future test matches, but I'm sure he'll get his chances. And if he performs there, the spot currently occupied by Cordoba could easily be given to Suarez instead. The formation itself hasn't changed in 2 years, so definitely 4 players on defense, with the left and right back, Munoz and Mojica, taking on an offensive part in possession of the ball. Lerma dropping back into defense, and an offense that is very fluent with centered around James, Lucho, Rios and John Arias. There will only be friendly matches until the World Cup, so we'll see what other experiments Nestor Lorenzo has in his back pocket. I'll let you know about those experiments and changes that are coming up. I'll keep track of what's happening to the team leading up to the World Cup next year. But again, after Suarez's performance against Venezuela, you have to keep an eye on him and whether he can make the jump into the starting 11. And so we're looking at the table here after 18 match days, the final table of the CONMEBOL World Cup qualification stage. Colombia qualifies and goes to the World Cup after missing the last one. Colombia in third spot. Only 1 point behind Ecuador, but remember Ecuador had 3 points deducted due to previous rule violations. Argentina is secure in first, and Colombia again in third, tied on points with 3 other teams, Uruguay, Brazil and Paraguay. Big gap there to 7th spot. Again, Bolivia has to go into playoff to qualify for the World Cup. But from a Colombian perspective, I'm very excited. Not qualified in 2022, now going to the World Cup in 2026. I'm looking forward to that World Cup next year. I hope you do too. So subscribe if you want to stay in the loop. Until then, that was Todos Cafeteros. See you then.